an entrepreneur now.
I mean, apparently.
Yeah, tell us.
Get comfortable.
All of a sudden, I'm more attractive to Georgia. She was never attracted to me when I was a trainer. When I was a trainer training mate, she looked through me.
Excuse me.
She would see me, but like not be there.
That is not
It's
true.
okay. What generally happens is that women date across and up the dominance hierarchy, and men date across and down. And I was below you.
Why are you saying that? That's crazy.
But it's true, though.
It's not true.
I'm not saying it's true of you. I'm saying it's just generally true.
Welcome to another episode of 80/20. I am Georgia Sinclair. This is Shanina, Shaik, and today we have a very good friend of mine on the podcast. He's an actor, he's a father, he's a husband, he's an entrepreneur. I would call you a wellness expert.
Well, thank you.
It's Luke Cook, everybody. Welcome, Luke.
Thank you.
You're
It's a
also
pleasure
kind
to
of a
be here.
TikTok star.
Yeah,
you're a TikToker.
I've got some followers on there. I like the idea of this 80/20 podcast because 80% health, 20% naughty.
Yeah.
Correct?
I feel like this podcast is going to be 80% naughty, 20% health today. Just
Because
for
that's
some
more
reason.
interesting.
Yeah.
Much more interesting.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a 90-10 guy.
Yeah?
What ratio 90, what ratio
90,
10?
90 health,
Really?
10 naughty.
10 naughty. Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
Why 90-10? Why?
Well, because it's just like if you were to ask me the ratio, I don't work towards that as a ratio. I just enjoy being healthy more often than, 20% of the time would be too much for me.
Yeah.
Okay. You are very passionate about it.
I am very passionate about it. And I don't mean to sound like a complete bore, but if you'd asked me this 5 years ago, I'd be 80/20.
Okay.
But now when I have kids, like I consider the mornings now.
Yeah.
And I didn't used to. I used to let's drink until we can't anymore.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? I'm joking.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging it. From no fault of my own, no decision of my own, I was just like, I want to feel good in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna feel good in the morning. So I'm not gonna drink.
Well, with 2 kids, I can understand why you
Yes.
would want to feel good in the morning.
Yeah,
I imagine that's a lot of work.
Exactly. I just didn't want to feel like that anymore.
Yeah.
And then so I'm not being wise. I just had to do it. Like I just didn't have a choice. My body was like, you should feel good tomorrow morning. Don't drink.
So do you not drink at all?
No, I still partake. And if I go, I'm just a little bit more responsible. So the other night there was a party and it started at 6 and it went till 9, or that was when the open bar was.
I love
And
6 till 9 parties.
Yeah, 6 till 9, I was like, great.
spot.
And I was at home by 10. Now, I would have gone till, the early hours in the old days. But
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'll be okay. And I took this thing called DHM. Have you ever taken it?
What is it?
It's called DHM. It's a supplement that helps the liver handle the alcohol.
Okay. Does it work?
Yes.
Ooh.
It's fantastic. It's called
Okay.
DHM. You can get 1,000 milligram on Amazon, which I got, and it works beautifully.
Wow.
So I drank heavily from 6 to 9.
Love that.
Are you supposed to do that? Is that the DHM, drink heavily?
No, I didn't. I was just like, okay, well, I've had a great time. I've drunk enough. I'm fairly hammered. I should go home now.
Yeah.
And then I went home and I took the DHM before you go to sleep, which is kind of the way you do it. And I wake up feeling like I didn't do that.
Oh, you heard it first, ladies and gentlemen. There's your
DHM.
hangover cure.
DHM.
Yeah, consider it.
Yeah.
I think it's just a good idea, even if you have, a bottle of wine between you and your partner.
Yeah.
DHM will help you.
I love that. So
Yeah.
what does your wellness routine look like?
It's so stunning.
Tell us.
Stunning.
Well, I exercise every day. One day I'll just do mobility, so it won't be extreme.
Okay.
I try to walk 12,000 steps a day, which sounds crazy,
I
but it's
saw
really just
that.
about getting up and moving all the time.
I'm a 10K steps girl.
10K is completely
it.
fine. And by the way, for anybody out there, I'm not judging you. 8K is actually what the science says is ideal. You don't need to go above that. I'm that motherfucker.
Yeah. Overachiever.
I love to exercise. I love to eat well. I eat a higher protein diet.
Wait, I saw you walking backwards up a hill. What's
I
that
walk
about?
backwards up a hill
Okay.
because I want to take care of my knees. And so backwards walking, they found, is super helpful to strengthen the muscles around the knees.
Does it help with knee pain?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I have to try that.
I also do another thing called a couch stretch for 90 seconds on each side when I'm watching TV at night. It's just a quick thing that's not
show
that
us? How do
it's
you
not
do
that
it?
strenuous. Well, it's called a couch stretch. because you could do it on a couch.
Okay, so I'm just going to describe this for everybody. It's kind of like a lunge.
Yeah.
You
It's
do
a
at the
lunge,
gym, but
your foot is on the top of the couch.
you put your foot on the top of the couch and you put your shin sort of against the couch and you stretch your hip flexors. Is that correct?
Yeah, it really opens up the hip flexors. Because we sit all day, so our hip flexors get really, really tight. That's one way to open it up. I walk backwards from time to time. The Chinese have been doing that for thousands of years, by the way. Walking
Okay.
backwards.
Really?
And what else do? I cold plunge for about 2 minutes every day.
You have a cold plunge, don't you?
Have a cold
I want to
plunge.
get one of those.
It's a great idea. Get
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
There's a company called Plunge.
Okay.
They used to be called Cold Plunge. Now it's called Plunge.
Okay.
It's
I'm
great
gonna stick
stuff.
one on my roof.
You should do it. You
Yeah.
know, my mother-in-law, when she started doing it, she was like, I've never seen a person panic
Yeah.
so much. She was like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
And she like got in and got out. Now I can't get the bitch out.
Really?
It's 5 minutes. She's just, I love it. Oh, I love it. I got to do it. I mean, it's amazing for inflammation, but when
Yeah.
you consider, it increases your dopamine by 200%, your
No.
norepinephrine and epinephrine by like 400%.
So it's great for ADHD as well.
It's great for your brain. It's
Yeah.
fantastic for brain health. When you consider that our ancestors probably didn't have hot showers. They probably went down to the lake to wash, bathe, wash clothes. They were used to the cold. They got in the cold. It's probably how our brains are meant to function.
Right.
With that level of dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine.
Yeah.
So I do that 2 minutes every morning. But I don't want it to sound crazy. Like, I have 2 kids and I'm still active with them in the morning. So I'll get in the plunge, get out and be with them.
Yeah.
Do whatever I need to do with them, breakfast, etc. When they're napping, I work out.
Okay.
That's how I do it, so that I can be with them as much as possible and also get what I need to get done.
Yep.
Kara knows, like, if I'm pissy, she's like, you need to work out. I go, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just puts me in a better mode.
You have a very well balanced scheduled. You got it all sorted.
really
We kind of got it all sorted. It's
Yeah.
just, it's day to day. Sometimes like other days are more chaotic than others.
Life happens.
Do you
What time do you
meditate?
wake up?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. What time do you wake up in the morning?
Usually, naturally, I'll wake up at like 7.
Okay.
That's when the boys wake up.
Boys.
What time do you sleep?
9.
Whoa! I'm so jealous. That's like my dream bedtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Well,
that.
it's like it is. You do wonder, like, I would like to stay up and watch a TV show.
Yeah.
But once I finish dinner, we're just like, I lay around, stretch. Kara will watch some trash.
Yeah.
But I'm not watching. I'm not doing
you
anything
and Cara
better.
should hang out, Shanina.
I know.
Do you watch Real Housewives?
Yeah, here and there. Yeah.
Loves
Likes
it.
that.
Yeah, but I've
watches every
actually
show.
stopped doing nighttime TV a lot. I've noticed in the past 2 months.
Really?
I've stopped.
What are you doing?
Wow.
I like to journal.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I like
wow.
to journal. I try to like put my phone away. Georgia hates it. She's like, I can't.
She's
call
messaging you. Yeah.
I get so mad when her do not disturb goes on after 8 p.m. I'm like, what the hell, Shanina?
So how do you journal? Like, what do you write? Is it a stream of consciousness thing or?
In the morning, I wake up, I journal.
Okay.
And when I can, and obviously, again, like life happens, but I go back to journaling. It's more like setting myself up for the day.
Yep.
What to expect, but how am I going to deal with it? How like healthy practice or like having compassion for myself throughout the day, and what I'm going to be excited for the day. So
Yes.
it's really setting you up. And at the end of the day, what I appreciate about the day and what was great, and how, and if something did come up for me, how did I handle it, and having compassion for that.
Wow.
I love
That's
that.
very thoughtful.
I gotta do that.
What the fuck do you do?
Yeah, what do you do, Georgia?
Oh, fuck. You know what? I'm usually much better than I am right now. My usual routine is I will get up in the morning. I try to get up early. I do apple cider vinegar and hot water with lemon to
Nice.
kick things off. I'll take my supplements. And I recently started eating breakfast. I used to fast, but apparently I've been told that's bad for women. So I always eat a savory breakfast,
Yeah,
kick
good.
off with protein, and then I'll go do a workout. So I'll do a class or I'll go to the gym, something like that. I'm a shithouse meditator, but that's something I want to get into.
Yeah.
That and breath work.
Yep.
Add that to your behind the Instagram
Yeah, shithouse
Shithouse meditator. Yeah.
that is going in the bio. So I would say, I'm pretty good with that stuff. Shit house sleeper as well. I think it's probably because I mess with my body, my circadian rhythm all the time with DJing.
Yeah.
But that's something else I really want to fix. I eat pretty well though. Like
Good.
I do have a pretty good diet.
Yeah,
So-
savory breakfast. It's like, 25 grams to 30 grams before 10 a.m., crushes snacking and crushes your appetite for the rest of the day.
I don't snack.
I don't snack either.
No, I
Great.
eat a lot of protein.
Great.
So I'm good with all that stuff. Right now, my life's chaos because I'm moving states. So
Yes.
I'm just functioning at a very basic level right now, living on Postmates, not sleeping, not working out. Definitely living 90-10, but the other way. To be honest.
Wow.
But I want to be real about that because, that happens when you're in different stages of life.
It does.
My goal is by the end of next week to be back in my normal routine.
Yeah, good.
So I signed up to Equinox in New York. Catch me at Tribeca. You'll see me there.
But at least you're aware of it. It's the awareness.
I am
Yes.
aware of it, and it's just I would love to be able to handle high pressure situations like this better in the future. But for now, I'm just dealing with the tools that I'm equipped with.
You're
Yeah.
perfectly present here in this conversation, so give
Thank
yourself
you.
a pat on the back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Do your appreciation, gratitude.
You're going to be in my appreciation journal tonight.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah.
Lou. I appreciate it. I appreciate
that.
you appreciating me. Okay, so let's talk about you. You're an actor.
Sure.
You're a dad
Yep.
A
to
successful
two
actor.
beautiful kids.
Yep.
I think you're a great husband. Instagram tells me so.
Yeah, I mean, she's still with me. I don't do anything like without her knowledge.
That's
So that's
pretty important.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that's all, everything's above board in that. You know what? We're not lying on Instagram yet.
Yet.
So you have open mindfulness communication.
We have good communication. I mean, we're very involved. We're raising two little kids, so we're around each other all the time. I feel like, there's something to be worked at all the time. Like, I feel like our communication tends to be sparse, and then we have a fight from time to time. Like, not often, but
Wait, you
I always feel-
fight?
Oh
That's
yeah,
not
we
on
argue. Yeah,
Instagram.
we had a big blow up recently when we were in Hawaii. Vacations aren't vacations when you have kids.
They're
Yeah.
also
It's
not
just
vacations without a
It's
huge family fight.
Yes, it's relocations, and then they're crazy, and they're getting on the clock of jet lag and all that. And so me and Cara had a fight, and she's like, "Why are we yelling at each other?" And it's like, because we don't have these little conversations that would probably stop the big fights coming out.
Yeah.
But they just happen from time to time, and I always feel that we're stronger after a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Get on the mat and you come out stronger.
Exactly. Have you got a husband, a lad?
Everyone's like, your husband. I have a partner. Yes.
Okay. And you
Father.
guys fight?
We fight.
Good.
Yeah. I know it's good. We were talking about this the other day, how the importance of the courageous communications. And it's really important to be heard and to be seen. You're not going to like everything that the other person says. It's just that's how life goes. But having the ability to talk about it, I think we've had the same thing. It's like 3 weeks go by and then boom, everything gets brought up. It's just not the way to
Yes.
to function. And having the small conversations, because everything kind of gets built up when it's like you're seeing something, you're like, okay, it's called idiot compassion, actually.
Oh, really?
Idiot compassion. Give us
Idiot
the
And
definition.
they're the idiot?
They're the idiot.
Right.
That's what I learned. No, joking.
Yeah.
Idiot compassion is also just saying, well, you know what, I'd rather let it be.
Yeah.
Don't sweat the small
compassion
stuff.
is it's like, I'm not going to do that. We'll let it be. I'm going to just put that on pause and you're the idiot in the end because you're not saying, hey, I really need to, I'm sensing this, I'm feeling this. I need to have a conversation with you and tell you how I feel.
Yeah.
And ask them how they're feeling or what's a way to resolve this so we don't get to the big bang.
Yes. What I found interesting is there can be a false humility when I fight. I'm looking for what I did wrong, and I want to admit to it so that Cara can quickly admit to me what she did wrong. So we can get to you know what I mean? So I'll be like, I'm sorry. I'll just lead with, I'm sorry for this and this and this, what I think I'm sorry for,
Yeah.
and then hope that she'll come back to me. Now,
Yeah.
she doesn't often come out with, I'm sorries soon. She's like,
Does she go, "That's
she's
good"?
like, that's okay. She's like, I kind of forgive you. And I'm like, but what about your side? What did you do?
Yeah.
And and so something that we work towards is going I'm like, I need to be really sorry and actually see what I did rather than try to end the fight, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to end the fight quickly by saying I'm sorry at the beginning. And what I need to do is actually really consider what I did wrong, be sorry, but also I would love for her to be more forthcoming with where she thinks that she went wrong.
Yeah.
She just doesn't tend to see that. I have to show her what she did wrong, and then she's like, okay. now I'm sorry. But that happens after conversation. That has to happen after the fight. That's as the fight goes on. She's slowly like, oh, I did fuck up.
No one wants to admit they're wrong.
Yeah.
It kind of brings a shame upon themselves to be like, I like sit there and be like, I really messed up.
Yeah.
And I don't want to admit that to myself because it makes yourself feel bad about it in some way. And then it goes to, well, crap, I made that person feel bad as well. And no one, it takes like it's a trial. It takes a lot to get to that place to be like, hey, I messed up with this.
Yeah.
And it kind of like makes you feel like this. But then it's like your partner saying, it's okay. You're not your mistakes. It happens. This is where I fucked up, or this is where I messed up.
Yep.
And yeah, it's interesting. It is kind of hard to that communication to do those things with a partner and get to that place. It just takes a lot of time and learning, I feel.
It does. I feel like I'm like, wow, I can't believe we're still figuring it out. It's like, bitch, you're going to be figuring it out forever. Like,
the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your go-to when you fight? Do you yell at and call people names?
Oh, God. No, I don't. I've definitely, in unhealthy relationships in the past, been pushed to a point where I yell.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that's my knee-jerk reaction. It probably was when I was younger, but I've definitely trained myself out of it. Yeah.
Before you said that you value loyalty and trust, that was the first thing that you said.
Yeah.
How much have you been fucked over? Like, how much of it is reoccurring with every guy that you're with, that they are dishonest and disloyal?
I mean, look, not pointing fingers at my dad, but we're going to point fingers at my dad, who does his best with the hand of cards that he was dealt with by his dad.
Right.
He picked up on some unhealthy behaviours which he didn't mean to, but did project onto my sister and I. And so it definitely comes from that. And I believe I've attracted a lot of the same traits in my relationships. So quite a lot.
Yeah.
That's all I've known. So I'm trying to break that pattern.
Yeah. Any patterns for you? Have you noticed in your relationships
How
and
many
stuff?
patterns do you have?
I have over 100.
Over 100
I've written
patterns.
them
done work
down.
on this.
Yeah, I've done work on this.
What do you mean over 100? What exactly?
Yeah, we have so many. There's probably more. They come up. But there's like, they kind of like they kind of like mold into one. But I've done some work and I realize my patterns and what I've been attracting in my life and what I'm like completely rebelling against and what I've like just learned. And so today I can see what I bring like to the table, like where I'm like, oh, I see this as a trigger, like there's a pattern that's coming up, and why am I upset about this, or like feeling hurt or misunderstood or something like this. And it's really, really helped by knowing what those things are to communicate that with my partner. And it's really, he's seen a difference, and he's just like, it's much easier to speak freely.
I've seen a difference as your best friend. Like talking to you now is like, it's remarkably different. It is not that she was difficult to talk to before. She wasn't at all, but the improvement is like incredible. It makes me want to do the same work.
Yeah, it's for me, I've from what I can see and what I attracted in partners is, and because of my dad, it's abandonment. I'm worried about, and I didn't realize this until like recently this year. I was like, I'm very independent, and that's also part of a rebellious side of my pattern of what I've learned.
Yeah.
Well, you don't believe you can trust somebody to take care of you?
No.
Because you weren't taught that.
And my mum was a single mother. So I've seen her wear the pants and just work and 2 jobs and take care of my brother and I and wear the pants in the family. So it's in me to be like, in life, I just got to take care of myself.
Yes.
But now I can take a step back and be submissive, bringing that feminine energy to my partner. I'm like, hey, I need you to take care of me. And that's what I want. But now I can understand that.
Yeah, the divine feminine.
Yeah, where I'm like, so it was definitely a rebellious part of me, but also I can see where in partners, if they didn't contact me or like they go away for like, it's abandonment where I'm like,
You would freak out and then blacklist them.
blacklist them.
Shanina ghosts like you've never seen.
And they'll come back going, oh, hey, and you'll be like, no.
She cuts
you just
people
cut
off at
them
the knees.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it comes to a point even in my relationships where I'm fed up, and then I become done. But when I'm done.
Right.
Like I go cold. Like it's not meaning ill, because I can still be friendly, but when I'm done, I'm done. But in where I can see where I've done wrong is, and George has caught me on this, is like, well, Shanina, like you're kind of running away from the problem. You're doing the same thing. Like you really need to confront it and be there.
Yeah, and so with your current partner, have you done things like that to him where you've gone like run away from him, felt abandoned by him, gone cold on him, and then you're like, wait a second, that's a pattern.
Yes, and I'm sorry. He knows, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And running away from certain things is a pattern as well. Mm-hmm. But it also stems from abandonment.
Right.
Well, you're protecting yourself.
It's a runaway thing. And someone's like, I'm out of this.
Yeah.
They're running away from what's happening at home.
Yes. My guess would be about you, Shanina, only given that the little that I know about you and the fact that you're friends with Georgia, is that at some point you got really wise and you're this is just my guess, okay? Just play with me here.
Okay,
I bet you were a bit of a party girl, but you were very independent because you're a model going around the world, traveling, shooting great things, making lots of money. And you were like, I'm not going to think about these issues, all these like abandonment problems, I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to enjoy my fucking life. And then at some point, I don't know when it was, I don't know, maybe you got sober, or was it when you got pregnant, when you found the right person, then you're like, okay, I need to wise the fuck up.
Yes and no. No soberness.
Okay.
She's drunk right now.
80-20.
I'm drunk right now. No, I'm very ambitious. I love my job. Uh-huh. So a pattern of that for me, or something that I've learned as well, is overworking.
Yeah.
And so I work. And that is an avoidance of things that's happening in my life too, which is not good. As much as I do love my job, and it brings me joy. I love helping people. I love being creative, and it does make me happy. I think about what I'm doing in my life and I'm like, does it bring me joy? Yes, I love that. I learned so much. I get to travel. I'm so grateful for that. Mm-hmm. Do I get to be part of amazing experiences and parties and enjoy myself? I'm very, very fun and loving, and I love a good tequila, and that's why my friends love me too, because I've become more fun with tequila.
Yeah.
So, with my partners, though, I'm a relationship girl. I like to be in serious, committed relationships and have a long term and be with a partner and have a best friend for life. And it's come to a point where I keep inserting myself into relationships and then they don't work out. And it got to a point where it's like, why is this shit becoming so consistent and continuous? I'm a good girl, I'm driven, I work, I'm passionate about the person I want to grow with. So I was like, what is happening? And it's something else happened where it got so bad where I'm like, okay, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
There's something wrong here. I need to work on myself. And it wasn't even about the other person.
Yeah.
Because I was sick of it. And it was like I was fed up with myself.
What a cool wake up to go, oh, there's something going wrong here and I'm the common denominator. It's me.
Funny that when things keep happening, isn't it? Yeah. Funny. Oh, wow. Holy shit. I'm the problem. It's me.
Well, so often people say, fucking men, or some shit, you know, and men say the same thing, like women, fucking bitches and stuff like that. It's like, you know, but you're the common denominator in all of it, you know?
Yeah. And it's usually the same problems repeating themselves over and over again in different relationships.
Well, it's easier, and from what I've learned, it's easier to point the finger and blame someone because it doesn't bring shame upon yourself.
Right.
And it doesn't, and it's the truth. You don't want to admit that. It's easier for your brain and for your energy and feeling to be like, okay, I put it on somebody else, it's not me.
Totally.
And then you feel good about yourself in some aspect. But then to sit there, and even though it's a loving thing, and be like, maybe there's something wrong with me, you kind of like, then you kind of go down a little bit. You're like, well, that's not good.
What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfect.
But it's also the love that you have for yourself, I guess. For me, in a really great way, and how I can look at it is, it had to get really, really bad for me to make a change in my life.
Yep.
To see that in front of me, and that's what the positive I take from all of it in my life. It's like, and I'm grateful for it. With all the bad things that happen in my life, it's been a lesson for me.
Yeah.
As much as I don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
But as your best friend, it's been such a lesson for me watching you go through this process where you decided to take action and make changes to improve your own life, and nothing else has changed. Like, your partner hasn't changed. Like, you didn't even ask that of him. He's just still him. And yet I see your life and your relationship has transformed because you worked on yourself, which is so interesting. I think we're always looking for the other person to change, for the other person to get better, and not looking in the mirror. And you actually did that, and I mean, it's huge. Yeah. I've noticed it's huge.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I definitely encourage people to be like, you know, look at themselves and see what they like might bring, or, you know, what's going on for them.
Yes.
And encourage people to like talk about their feelings as well.
Yeah.
Fighting and blaming. It's everyone, like, one thing I did learn as well is like sitting on the couch and saying, hey, we need to talk.
Is that
We'll be
good
like-
or bad?
They're good.
Because it makes people seize up, doesn't it?
No, it's a defense mechanism.
Oh, the hey, we need to talk?
Yeah, hey, I want to talk with you. And you're like, oh, fuck, what did I do?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It is because it's very parental, isn't it? It's like, we
Yeah.
need to talk.
Yeah.
Sit down. We
Yeah.
need to talk. And it's like, oh, gosh, this reminds me of like...
Women do that a lot to men, where they're like, oh, like, and then they're going in there like, what did I do? What did I do? Maybe like for yourself, you're like, oh, what did I do
my
that I need to
gosh.
be
Does Cara do
apologized
that?
for?
Yeah, the constant, like... Because I live with her and her mum.
Yeah.
When I get home, I'm hit with a barrage of questions. Who did this? Where's that? What's going on tonight? Who's doing this? And I'm like, I just need 5 minutes of no talk. I've just come back from work or whatever. I just need a moment to myself where I'm not hit with... I can't help but call it nagging.
No, it is nagging. It
You
is
know.
nagging.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, but it's understandable. They're like,
Yeah.
I need to talk to Luke about that. Well, he's home now. I'm going to talk to him about it. And it's
Yeah.
like, actually, I just need some space,
Yeah.
and then I'll be ready to deal with you in a much better way.
Have
Do
you told him
communicate?
that?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we said the
I
same
just
thing.
yell about it every time.
You just yell about
Oh yeah,
it?
yeah. I make it light and fun.
Yeah.
But I'm like, because I get home and Tracy, my mother-in-law, is like, Luke, what are you going to do about the tree that's on the ground over here that's fallen over? And then I come down and Cara's like, where have you been? Where are you going now? What's happening? And my little chihuahua, who's Cindy, another female,
Cindy.
is just like, ruff, 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 ruff. And I'm like, I can't deal with 3 fucking women up my ass right now. I just can't do it. And so I always just jokingly say, hey, I just can't do it right now, okay? I just can't deal with all the constant questions. And they're like, they laugh and they're like, okay, we'll leave him alone. And then I come back and I'm like, okay, this is what's going on with the tree. I'm going to do this. Cara, I've just come back from here and I'm going here this afternoon. Okay? See you later.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you say are the common things that you fight about in your marriage?
Sex.
Really? Are you willing to elaborate?
Yeah. It's really interesting for as you have kids and as responsibilities, get greater and greater and you get busier and busier as people, that energy for sex is lost. For me, it's like a love language. It's like quality time. For me, sex is that
Yeah.
love language.
Yeah.
I love it. It connects us.
Yeah.
If ever we're fighting or pissy with each other, sex just helps.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
What I found is that I just need to be a bit better about, instead of expecting it, is just to romance Cara a little bit.
Yeah.
Romance her and warm her up into the idea hours and hours before. Not it's happening in 10 minutes, so time to warm her up.
The
And it's
foreplay.
yeah.
Foreplay's got to go be like,
Yeah. And it's not foreplay in the sense that maybe other people are thinking. It's touching her, kissing her, giving her a hug, helping her out with some bullshit, and
Yeah.
just, and being there. It's like an ongoing battle. It's like, okay, well, sex is really important to you. Okay, well, her love language is different. So how can you give her love language in order to get, kind of yours?
What's her love language?
I'd say it would be quality time, not a bit of touch, quality time, acts of service.
Acts of service. So do you find she's way more open to sex if you start helping her out?
For sure.
Oh, so that's foreplay. I love
It's
it.
just really hard because I've got what I've got going,
Yeah.
and you kind of, when you are parents, you're splitting all the things that have to get done.
Yeah.
So the idea of okay, you're splitting what's got to get done, but you've also got to touch in those little moments whenever
Yeah.
you can. When you walk past, just give her a little smack on the bum. It's
Yeah.
acknowledgement, because you can live with people and never fucking look them in the face.
Yes.
You're like, you never look each other in the eyes.
Yeah.
That's what I found so crazy about babies is that I'm like, we make eye contact. I'm like, wow, I never look people in the eyes.
Yeah.
They
we
wake me up to
don't.
that. Like, yeah, it's so intimate.
Because they don't really think about the intimacy
No,
involved, do
don't,
they?
yeah.
They just stare at you.
They just stare at you,
Hi.
and you're like eye
Yeah.
contact, and you're like, fucking hell, I never look at people in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. We kind of like, there's something like brings like a little bit of anxiety with it, I've learned.
Big time.
But also when someone's looking at you, it's also like you're being seen.
Yes,
Like
acknowledged.
looking at you and seeing you, or like seeing how you're feeling. Like you can just like it's like looking at a picture. If you sit there and like look at a picture, you can notice so many things that's going on.
Yeah.
But it is a form of connection.
Totally.
The
Yeah.
eyes are the window to the soul.
And I just think like we need to do that more. You know, I think like me and Kara should do that more. So like more and more we make time like that. So I'm not always thinking about the sex. Sometimes I'm like, we need to spend time together because within 2 kids and whatever, like there's always other people who are around, or either the kids are around and our attention's on them, but it's really just together and just talking, being together. And I find that to be like super important for us. But yeah, like sex is something like we just have different expectations of. I'm like, I know that it solves things. And she's like, you need to warm me into this idea, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's a kind of it's a wrestle.
So you have a lot going on. You have your marriage. You have your 2 kids
Yeah.
who are 1 and 3. Is that correct?
They'll turn 1 and 3 in November.
Okay, so that's a beautiful and yet crazy age.
Crazy
I'm told.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of energy.
A lot of chaos.
Yeah, a lot of chaos. You are a successful actor. Tell us about that.
Well, we're on strike right now.
I know. I saw your video on TikTok that went
Yes.
viral where you
Yes.
explained the SAG strike so
Yeah.
eloquently. I would love for you to explain it again.
Yeah.
Sure. So part of the deal with the strike is there's a few things going on. Number one, actors don't get paid very well when they work. And the issue isn't, a lot of people think like, oh, actors never work, so of course they're not going to get paid. The issue is when you do get work, you should get paid fairly.
Yes.
And ever since the new streaming and tech got involved with Hollywood, pay has gone down and down and down. We've kind of accepted these starvation wages. We kind of accepted it during COVID. We were like, well, we want us to get back to work, so we'll take a little pay cut, and it's never come back from there. Essentially, they use old contracts for these brand new big streamers, you know, Netflix, Hulu. So obviously, everybody knows entertainment has changed like crazy.
Yeah.
Like the way that you watch TV, the way that you watch movies, you rarely go to the cinema. You now can get Barbie, which was only released a couple of weeks ago, it feels like. You can now watch it online. And
Yeah.
that was never the case back in the day. So that's changed. The way we're paid has changed. Royalties are terrible. You used to be able to, like, you know, when you needed a check, royalties could come save the day sometimes, you know, for all the work that you've done. Because people continue to, for those of you who don't understand royalties, people are continuing to watch your work over and over again and be entertained by it. And somebody's making money every time they watch your show. So you're owed a bit of that. And that check has shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. And mostly because streamers are paying less and less and less on that, as well as that streamers don't let you know their numbers. So we could be owed so much more than we even know. They just don't reveal their numbers. Netflix, Hulu, Disney don't reveal any of their numbers to any
Wow.
people. So there's no way of knowing what they owe you or what they may not. They want to keep their numbers secret because A, they don't want you knowing what
much
show
you
is,
really-
how much money they owe you, but also how shit a show is doing, you know, if
Yeah.
somebody's not watching something,
I
for
can't
instance.
believe that's not mandated, actually, when there's so many, you know, people involved in a project. You would think that there would be some laws around that.
And that's why we're in the strike. 'cause
That's why we're
then-
on a strike.
Yeah.
Is to make those numbers known. I'm not sure if that'll ever get done, but we're certainly going to fight for just a fairer contract as far as money is concerned. And then there's AI, which is probably the one
Yeah.
you've heard about. I feel like you know a little bit about
I know a
AI.
lot about AI, and I think AI is the most wonderful tool that can be super useful. But I draw the line at for a couple of different reasons at people's likeness being turned into IP.
Yes.
And driven by AI, not just because I think it's unfair to the artist, but I also think that unless, of course, they can monetize it. But I also just think it sort of takes away from some of the magic. Like, I don't really want to watch a screen where, you know, and no, oh, that's not even the actor acting.
Exactly.
Unless maybe there's a legacy play where the actor has at the end of their life decided, you know, I want to say it's like Marlon Brando or something. I want to do another 5 feature films, or, you know, that could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I just think replacing living people is no.
Yeah, me
Not for
neither.
me.
I mean, and I don't really understand why AI is. It's so new and it's so fresh that they think that like acting, art, writing is where you're going to make your play first.
It's
like,
weird.
why don't you do a fucking printer that works?
Yeah.
Why don't you figure that out?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you make a big Roomba that cleans everything?
Yeah.
Like, instead of making the little Roomba that goes, like, why can't you just do something good?
But then people in the service industry for cleaning might say, well, fuck you, we're going on strike because we don't want a robot to do our cleaning.
That's
You
true
know,
as well.
yeah.
I mean, lots to consider. I just don't get why writing or art is something they would turn their skills to first. It seems like
Because it saves money.
it saves money, yes, but like art, what's so amazing about art is the human element. That's what's so great about art. It's like stories about heartbreak, stories about triumph, human triumph, not like fake triumph. And like even when it's like a lion, you know, in a cartoon, it has the human element, which is why we relate to it. AI has never been heartbroken. AI has never triumphed.
It'll tell
AI
you it
doesn't-
has been.
Oh, sure. It can tell you whatever you want. And also we have to consider like AI is basing all of its work, everything that it spits out is based on stealing from art that already exists.
Yes.
You know, it melds it together and it spits it out and goes, that was my idea. And it's like, no, it wasn't your idea.
For
you know?
people who don't understand how AI works, basically AI trawls through information, usually found on the internet, and it learns from that, and then it regurgitates that information. So the whole, oh my God, you know, AI wants to come and kill us. No, it doesn't. What it does, it's gone through the internet and it's found all the horror stories about AI killing humans, and it's regurgitating that information, telling you it wants to be free and it wants to kill humans.
Yes.
You know? There is
Right.
an argument to say that, and this is really going down a rabbit hole, but I'm fascinated by it. If you took a machine and put AI in it, and it regurgitated that kind of information and learned how to kill humans, that machine could kill humans.
Oh, yeah.
So it is dangerous in that sense, but it's not actually, it doesn't actually have a conscience. You know?
Well, yeah, that's only ChatGPT, which kind of like learns from the internet. What happens when it starts learning from us?
Yes.
When it starts interacting with us and learning what we like, what we don't like, all those habits and patterns and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like once it figures that out,
Oh.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we could be selling, you know, Toxic Boyfriend, the machine version, Toxic Boyfriend 2.0.
What I don't get though is that
For people that love torture.
the talent should be able to say yes or no if they want to have an AI movie
Yes.
out in the next 10 years. That should be up to the individual.
Yes.
And up to the director and everyone that's involved in the production of all of that. And
Yes.
you know, maybe have it go, like sign off on it. But
I mean, Grimes
against
has
your
done it.
will, yeah.
Yeah.
it doesn't really make sense. And just to talk about what Shanina's mentioning, there is so essentially what the studios have offered is that you can come in and get scanned, a full body scan and a face scan that the studios can use in perpetuity, aka forever, on anything without giving you any more money. They'll pay you $200 for the scan or whatever it be a day rate, and then they can use that whenever they want to for whatever without asking you, without giving you any money. And that is horrifying and wrong.
It is horrifying
Yeah.
and wrong. I've actually been scanned. I have a metahuman.
You would.
I do have a metahuman because I'm very into virtual reality.
Where is it at though? Is it like, can we
She's at
talk?
home.
She's at home?
She's in the metaverse. Yeah, I mean,
You
look,
could be a great virtual girlfriend.
thanks. You know what? I'll keep that in mind.
Like with your
Find me on
Aussie accent.
OnlyFans.
How are you?
How are you?
Can I cook you an omelette?
All right. Meta Georgia cooks a great omelette, just putting it out there. No, this is actually hilarious. I am friendly with somebody who's in the executive team over at OnlyFans, and I have actually pitched my avatar to this person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're
Didn't you have a friend who owned Only Feet?
Yes.
What happened to that?
He was back when I was doing a lot of stuff on Clubhouse. This was somebody who bought onlyfeet.com.
Okay.
And I thought it'd be hilarious to actually get that thing popping, but nothing ever happened with it.
So he owns it, doesn't use
He
it.
just owns the URL.
What if I just like used my own feet. I'm not into the feet, but I think it's hilarious that people are.
Are you on Wiki Feet?
Yeah, I'm on Wiki Feet. I think
So am I,
I
so
think I
Shanina.
lost to Shawn Mendes recently.
Of course you are. Every person with a profile is on
Shanina,
Wiki
you'd
Feet.
have a great foot profile
Hold
on there.
on. Let's look this up.
I just like the fact that people are into it. I'm not, but I find it funny that people are. So a couple of years ago, I raised money for a charity just selling feet pics.
Shanina.
And I sold. Oh, is it good?
Shanina Shaik's Wiki Feet. You have, babes, you've got a 5-star rating on Wiki Feet. I can't believe you didn't even know this. Look, these are all photos of your feet found on Getty.
Oh, wow.
And, you got some love.
How do you feel about this?
Ooh.
Shanina, how do you feel about it? Give us a look at the feet, though.
Yeah. Take a look at Shanina's
Oh, I'm right here. I can show you.
Wait, do we actually... Toes. We can actually show you Shanina's feet, live and in person.
I just wanted to make sure. How do you feel about them, though? You got good feet, or are you cool with your own feet?
No, I have good feet for
She does have
modeling.
good feet. I have bunions, and I've still got a 4.5, probably because of the bunions.
They even have my pregnant feet in here too.
Yeah.
Oh, I like when pregnant feet get puffy and big.
You
Do
like
you?
that? Is that a thing
I like
for you?
pregnancy in general. I think it's really
Wait,
attractive.
they say that some men are attracted to that, and you're
I
one of
am.
them.
Yeah.
That's
You took
cool.
that picture.
Oh my God, my work's on Wiki Feet.
Yes.
I'm a little bit stoked
Are
right
you
now.
into feet? Like in any way, shape, or form?
No.
No,
Hmm.
I'm not. It's not really what I'm into. I'm into personality.
Women feet to men feet is very different.
It is, but it is. I just.
I don't see any woman that's like, I love men's feet.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are
You're
some.
right. Yeah, I'm sure there are some too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
For me, it's like if Cara loved her feet like been licked or something, like
Yeah.
if she enjoyed that, I would love to do that for her.
Really?
Oh yeah, like because I'm not into feet, but I'm like if it gave her pleasure. Now my other friend, he's into feet, and he has his girl, and he's always licking my feet, and I'm like, but you see, it gives you nothing, and that's what I don't like about. That's
Yeah.
why I wouldn't be into it.
It's for him.
I wanted to. If it was to give her something, if she was really into it, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Someone asked me offered to pay me to touch my feet.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
How much?
Hilarious.
I was a young girl walking in New York, and it was like he tricked me. This man was like, "Oh, can I ask about these directions and all that?" And I was
Wait, this is in person? He asked you?
yeah, I was very young, naive girl, and just got to New York City. I
Oh my
think I was
God.
like 19.
Did you
something
do
like
it?
that. No, I ran. I was so scared. I was like, "Oh my God!" And
At least you ran.
Yeah, I ran off. I
You
was
might
like,
have gotten sold into the white slave feet market.
scary.
It's a deeply confronting time moving to New York. I moved to New York when I was 18, and it's so scary and big, isn't it?
Scary and big. Yeah.
But you must have been. I mean, you would have been pretty plugged into the social pipeline pretty quickly, I imagine. Like, were you out there pretty quickly with friends and a community? No, you had to struggle for that.
I had to struggle for my friends and community.
Yeah.
I moved to New York when I was 17, about to turn 18.
Yeah.
That's young.
Yes, and we were talking about models' apartments, and
Shit.
went straight to a model's apartment.
Yeah.
Lived with 24 other girls.
Also, don't have any family or friends from Australia that was based in the US. at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was just me, you know.
I did that exact thing with like 12 guys in the IMG model apartment.
Oh wow,
Terrible.
models' apartments are not the best.
No.
Terrible, but so at that age for me, it was good. It was like,
yeah.
it was so shit. It was good.
Yeah.
In your 20s in New York City is amazing.
Is it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Really?
No, because I left when I was like 19, came back to Australia, did a bit of acting training, then went to LA. I've been here 15 years now.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, you've
Long
really
time.
been here a while.
I know, you wake up one day and you're like, my entire adult life has been spent in Mickey
In America.
Mouse Town.
And yet we still sound the same.
We still do we?
I'm proud of us.
You sound the same. And you
sound the
okay,
same.
thanks.
Yeah.
No, it means a lot.
I get
And you
teased.
married an Aussie too.
Yes. So she
Yeah.
was born in New Zealand, but moved when she was 4 and grew up on the same street as me.
What? What?
Yes, but we met here.
No way.
Wow.
Wow.
So I used to work I still work at Training Mate sometimes. And I went to I became friends with her best friend who used to come to my class all the time. And she'd talk to their friends. She'd be like, I just love this guy, Luke. He's just does the best classes, which was so cute. And so we became friends on Instagram. She posted a picture of Cara. I was like, who the fuck is that? And then a couple months later, I get this DM from her, and she's like, do you want to go on my friend Becca thinks we should go on a date.
Wait,
Well,
she
she
made the
came.
first move?
Well, I followed her because I was like,
Right.
she's just so, I have to,
Yeah.
And
Why didn't you ask her out then?
Because I didn't want to do it on Instagram. I just didn't want that to be our story.
Right.
Yeah. I'll tell you a wild story. Okay,
Yeah.
so I knew about her. I was following her. I was obsessed with her. I thought about her all the time.
But you hadn't
I'd
met her
never
in
talked to
person.
her. I'd never talked to her. I'd never met her in person, never DM, nothing. And I think about it all the time. And then and I was kind of recently newly successful. I guess I'd been on a TV show. And then
That TV show was
Sabrina, the Teenage
right?
Witch.
Yeah.
So I kind of like rose to, had a little bit of fame going about
I
me.
remember you went from 12,000 followers to
To
a
like-
million overnight.
Yeah,
And I mean,
well,
I was
yeah.
going to Training Med all the time. That's when we made our song, I Miss Coachella.
Exactly,
We'll get back to
exactly.
that.
So it
Yep.
was a wild time, and I got onto Raya because I got let in, and then these women, this woman was like, this big-breasted blonde was like, you should come over to New Orleans where I'm shooting a show. And let's have a great time together. And I was like, absolutely. And so now I'm getting ready to book a flight, and I'm like, and as I'm booking it, I'm like, what about Cara?
Really?
And I'm like, and then I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I just shouldn't book this flight. I go to my room and I go, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me, but I'm not booking this flight. I can't stop thinking about Cara. And he's like, I don't know what's going on with you, bro. And
Had she messaged you yet?
no,
No.
no
No way.
And she couldn't believe this story when I told her, but it was true.
Wow.
Recently, we got that girl's Instagram up, and I was like, look, see, this is the one.
Yeah, look
But
how
I
big her
didn't-
boobs are.
But I didn't go. And then it would have been like a week later that she messaged me and asked me on a date.
Were you freaked out when you got that
Wow.
message?
I was like, I was so hungover that day, but I just remember like I was so sick from being hungover that I was all of a sudden in an incredible mood.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, you want to hear another thing? Okay,
Yes.
so then that week, the day that she said like I can do Thursday, I was like, great, let's do Thursday night. I was in a video clip with another blonde with even bigger boobs than that one.
So you got a type?
I don't know. Do I?
you're
But this
attracted.
woman, do you know Carolyn Vreeland? The one with huge breasts.
Oh, yes, I
yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
It's, I don't want to sound, but anyway, I was in her music video, and like we were
Cool.
kind of flirting, and I was like, oh, this could happen.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I've got to leave early tonight. And the director's like, of the music video for Carolyn's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I have a date. It's very important. And they're like, well, we have to shoot until this time. I go, no, I'm leaving at this time.
Really?
And I left the thing with her, and she was a little bit like, why are you leaving? And I'm like, because I got to go on a date with my future wife.
Yes.
Wow.
Bet you're glad you made that call. You
Two
set that
calls that I
boundary.
made away from buxom blondes.
And you'd never met your wife in
Never.
person.
And I didn't
Amazing.
even know she was Australian. I didn't even
No.
know she was from Burwood and the same street as me.
Yeah.
How did
It's
you?
a bit of 2B magnetic vibes there, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, if that isn't manifestation, I don't know what is. That's crazy that you grew up on the same street.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of weird. Very
Yeah,
weird, but
I
in
love
a great
that.
way.
I love that. So, oh my goodness. And how long have you guys been married now?
Now we've been married since we got married in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. We had 10 people at our wedding. It was for free.
Oh, I love
But we
that.
spent no money on that wedding.
Wow.
But
Are you happy that you didn't spend money on your wedding?
well, have you heard about how much we would know this? How much people spend money on their wedding? It's just weddings.
I think it's
disgusting.
disgusting too. Personally, I totally love and respect people that spend money on their wedding if that's important to them.
Yes.
But for me, I'm like, nah.
And also, you go to them and they're incredible.
Yeah,
like they are
fun.
incredible. But you're also like,
Yeah.
you didn't need to do this. We didn't need this.
Shanina had a great one.
Did
I
you have a
really
big one?
thoroughly enjoyed going.
Really?
I had a fun wedding. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can look back on it and be like, wow, it was great.
In
It
LA,
was
or did you
beautiful.
travel?
Bahamas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sick. Oh.
See, that was like more of a vacation for everybody. So I see
Totally.
the value in that.
It was a celebration
Yeah, it
party
was.
with your friends.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. I didn't want something like that was like, all right, this speech and this one. And like
Yes.
everyone has their own vibe or what they want to create for their wedding. For me, it was a party and a celebration.
Yours was
Yeah.
a wonderful life experience that was worth every cent, I think.
thank
That's
you.
different.
Did you give a speech? Did anyone give a speech?
Yeah, and I told everybody, keep it a minute. 2 minutes and that's
Smart.
it, please.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
nice.
don't go over. I don't want to we don't want to go have life stories. It's just like great to like have
Shanina, I have known you since you were 5. I've always loved you so much from the very first moment I walked into Coolangatta Kindergarten.
Coolangatta is Sydney.
No, it's Queensland. Where are you from?
Melbourne, but I did live in Queensland for a bit.
Yeah, I think it's
Tewantin.
Tewantin. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Where's
Coolangatta.
Yeah.
Is it close to Coolangatta?
Woolloomooloo.
Woolloomooloo's is Sydney.
Australia's got
That's
some
where Russell
weird
Crowe
ass
I'm just
lives.
trying to name
names.
off all these things that you won't.
Okay, so I want to ask, what do you eat?
I eat lots of meat
Okay.
and
Great.
lots of protein.
Yeah.
Just in general, like that's my focus.
Yeah.
Animal foods would be 50% of my plate every time,
Okay.
along with like vegetables, sauerkraut, natural probiotics.
Do you take
I drink
supplements?
a lot of water. Yeah, I don't. I used to be like you should see my supplement cabinet. It's so dumb.
I think I have actually seen it on your Instagram.
It's so dumb.
It's so overloaded.
But I don't do that anymore. I basically take just a few things. I take a probiotic, a thing called boron, which is fantastic for your hormones, and another thing called DHEA, which is fantastic for my hormones. But I was told to take that by my doctor, so I do that.
Okay.
The rest of them, I just like, from time to time, I'll mix in like an AG1, like a green drink or whatever.
Yep.
But basically, no. Like, I don't feel the need to do it. I feel magnesium is something that I do feel the difference with. I
Yep.
take that. I do take, when I say it, I'm like, oh, okay, I do supplement a lot. But from what I used to do,
Yeah.
I've come a long way. Like, I don't feel the need to supplement all day with 1,000 different things.
well, ideally, you'll get most of it in your diet if you're eating the right stuff, right?
Ideally, yeah. So, like, you do need certain micronutrients because our food has been so messed with over time. But the great thing about meat, particularly, is the micronutrients and the macronutrients are fully available to us when we eat them. Our vegetables have lost a lot of, and fruits have lost a lot of the nutrients that are necessary. So
Even organic?
It is. Yeah, I mean, less so. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's just going to be better for you because it's been less fucked with.
Where do you buy all your produce then?
Well, I get my meat from a thing called Wild Pastures, which is a regenerative, 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef, pork, chicken.
I have got to reach out to them because I saw you post them and
Yeah, it's
I'm
good.
really, I mean, I only eat grass-fed.
Yep.
I know about that, but that seems amazing.
Yeah, the regenerative thing is great.
Yep.
I don't really go. We just go to Trader Joe. Oh, sorry, not Trader Joe's. We go to Whole Foods to get fruit and veg.
Yep.
And that's it. Sometimes we do the farmers market thing, but yeah, once you nail like you know that you have to eat protein as it's the most important macronutrient to thrive, right? In order for you to have more muscle, and if you want to lose weight or you want to lose fat, which is really what people mean when they say, "Oh, I
Yes.
want to lose weight." It's like you don't want to lose muscle, you want to lose fat.
Yeah.
So having a high protein diet helps you do that because it satiates you. It actually keeps you fuller for longer.
Yep.
And use carbohydrates. So for things like fruit, I use that as fuel. That's how I like. You want to move around. You want to feel good. You want to have lots of energy. Carbohydrates do that. Fats are important for cellular health. And so once you kind of like get that in order, and you also know, then you can have fun with it. Like you use food as a tool for your performance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you eat sugar?
I eat fruit.
You eat fruit. Okay,
That's it.
So you avoid processed sugars.
If there's shitty food in our house, and sometimes like people bring it over to be nice and give it to the
Yeah.
kids or whatever, which I find odd, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
Let me
Giving
poison
the
your
kids
children.
sugar.
why is it appropriate that you bring the kids and the kids are eating some shit? I just
Yeah.
don't get this. And
Yeah.
I notice that I'm even like, well, there's Doritos, or he can eat the Doritos. It's like, why would I give him the Doritos if I'm not willing to give it to myself? Like, why would I do that to him?
I agree.
So I'm like, okay, well, we're not going to do that. I throw shit out. I just like, if like it's not good, if it's trash, it's like no one needs that in this house. I love
Just
everybody
corn
here.
syrup.
Yeah, all that stuff, like
Yeah.
high fructose corn syrup, like, cane sugar, aspartame, anything that's like just, highly processed trash, I just throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
Because nobody needs
Where
it.
it belongs.
Yeah, my mother-in-law has been on a weight loss journey. She's lost like 30 pounds or something like that.
Wow.
And I'm just like, focus on protein, eat other stuff, but like, there's not going to be bad stuff around. There won't be the option for shit.
Yeah.
There's the option for yummy, but not the option for shit.
I don't have that in my place too. I really don't have bad food.
Yeah.
Probably like what I eat is bad, I guess, is like pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and that's not even like, when you use that as a tool, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you go like, okay, well, like that's going to be my fuel.
Yes,
That's
I
gonna be
needed
my
to carb
fuel.
up because I'm like,
Yeah,
if
it's
I'm
like,
on
that's
set,
great.
I'm like, I need to carb up. I need to have the energy.
Sure.
Carbs at night can actually help you sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think when you're like adrenaline's going after like a long day and you're just like, I need to relax, and that's what I need.
Yes.
But a lot of it, even for, I understand where you're coming from in the meaning of for your children. And I've noticed I put so much effort into my child and what I'm feeding him. And I'm like, gosh, I really need to do that for myself sometimes.
Yes.
But like the food that I make for him, and then I just put scraps together
Yes.
in a place. I'm like, I'm fine. But no, for him, like all the farmers market organic foods
Right.
and fresh made food, I've really like, there's nothing. No, I don't want to like give him anything.
Yeah, because you know how
like,
precious they are and how much, for instance, like a lot of people in the wellness space are like, well, vegetable oils in small amounts are completely fine. And it's like, yes, but to a body that's that big,
Yeah.
that really matters.
Yeah.
And like, soy in high amounts can be estrogenic. And it's like, yes, but to a body that big, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Mhm.
And sugar like does, but to a body that big, et cetera, et cetera. One thing I woke up to one day was I remember giving my son berries and washing them before I gave them to him, which I never do for myself. And I was like, why am I washing them for him?
Wow.
But I don't wash them for myself.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's like, they wake you up to like self-love. They wake you up to like, wait, if I'm treating you that way, I could probably do it for myself.
I recently started soaking my berries in water and apple cider vinegar.
Oh, nice.
Because it also makes them last, or I don't know whether that's a good thing, but it makes them last longer
That's
in the
good.
fridge.
Yeah. I mean, apple cider vinegar is amazing.
It is
Yeah.
amazing.
It's one of those things that's fads that never goes away, and there's a reason it never goes away. It's because it's incredible.
Well,
Like,
our
the science
grandmas
is-
were using it for stuff.
Right.
I put it on everything.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bragg.
salad dressings. You can add like
Love Bragg. They
Love
recently
Bragg.
she died.
I know. And she gave the world so much.
Somebody owns it. Somebody famous owns Bragg now. Orlando Bloom.
He owns
Really?
Bragg.
He's like one of the part owners.
I wish I owned Bragg.
And Katy Perry. They bought it
Really?
together.
I love
Smart.
that.
Speaking of ancient superfoods, like just to like get what I want to get in here.
Yeah.
So I'm
Shameless self-plug. Go for it.
shameless self-plug. By the time this podcast goes out, I'll have launched my new protein drink, which
Well, I
is
wanted to
made
talk
with
about that.
fresh liquid whey.
You're an entrepreneur now.
I mean, apparently.
Yeah. Tell us.
get comfortable.
All of a sudden, I'm more attractive to Georgia. She was
What
never
are
attracted
you
me when I was a trainer. When I was a
saying?
trainer training mate, she looked through me.
Excuse me.
She would
okay.
see me, but like not be there.
That
You
is
will not be
Like,
not.
I'm hearing an Australian accent, but I can't see a body attached to it.
That is not
It's
true.
okay. I was driving a Ford Taurus 2006. You were not
Thanks,
interested.
Luke, for making me sound like an absolute gold digger. That is not true at all.
You weren't
I
willing
used
to grow with.
I used to go to Luke's classes intentionally because not only is he a fabulous trainer, but he is probably the most entertaining person I've ever met. We actually made a song together called I Miss Coachella. It went viral. Check it out on YouTube.
It is good.
It was good. I just watched
also,
it.
Luke, you and I were never single at the same time, so I don't want to hear this.
It's true, but what generally happens is that women date across and up the dominance hierarchy, and men date across and down. And I was below you.
Why are you saying that? That's crazy.
But it's true, though.
It's not true.
I'm not saying it's
Because
true. I'm not saying it's true of you. I'm saying it's just generally true.
Generally true, but
Women
I don't.
tend to date up the dominancy hierarchy. They want a guy who's like more successful than they are. That generally is the case.
I
Not
think
always.
that is generally the case, but I wouldn't. I mean,
You want, how we were talking about this before, like women kind of want the man, the submissive role, the feminine energy, like you take care of me.
Yeah, to lead.
Yeah.
Are you saying purely financially?
No, I'm saying in any way, shape, or form.
Well, so probably at that point, my career was at a point where I was DJing and making quite a lot of money, and
Yeah.
you hadn't had your big break as
Hadn't
an
had my
actor
moment.
yet.
I
So
was-
I
yeah.
guess literally it's true, but I wouldn't like in that sense it's true. But I would. I mean, I thought you were fabulous.
I mean, I always
Still
liked you.
fabulous.
I was saying off air, and I don't mind saying it on air. Like we could have been on at least one day, but we never
could have
did.
been on at least one day, but you know what?
Ships pass in the night.
Bloody lucky we didn't because you married your exceptionally beautiful
Oh
wife.
my God, I
Cara.
married very well.
You married
I'm glad
very
that
well.
the stars aligned beautifully
and
for that
had
to happen.
2 beautiful children.
Oh, they're so nice and cute. I
Yeah.
love them very much.
They really are. Love that.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah,
yeah.
On the
let's get back
couch.
to that.
Oh yeah. So anyway, so beginning of this year, I heard about this guy, and this sounds like a terrible story for a business, but I heard about this guy back in Australia who made $450 million selling his protein powder. His name's Adam McDougall. He's a former rugby league player, and I was like, well, that is crazy. I should definitely give that a go.
Yeah. And also, is his protein powder good? Have you checked it out?
It's a meal replacement, so it's not really ideal ingredients, but it's just really helpful for weight loss.
Right.
So I went to my friend who's a real entrepreneur. Her name's Anya Fernald, and she was a former cheesemaker in Italy. Like she knows what she's a real ancestral person. If you ever go and have dinner with her, she's an amazing chef. She was on what's it called? Chef Sumo, Chef. What am I thinking of? What's it called?
Shana?
What's it called? Chef Ninja.
No, not Ninja Chef. It's I know what you're talking about.
Shana knows all reality TV shows.
No, I love the cooking shows. It's not no. It's like when they have she's like one of the chefs that go on, and then like the guy. Fuck, I know which one it is. I know
It'll come to me. But she's an amazing ancestral person. So if you ever, she cooks over fire.
Okay.
You'll go and have dinner with her, and she'll have this big fire pit, and she'll just be throwing like sweet potatoes and cabbages in there and cooking a brisket over fire. Like she's amazing.
Wow.
And she speaks the language of business. You know those people like CPG, D2C, and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Of which I do not speak that language.
Sounds hot, yeah.
And so I was like, I really want to do a whey. And she goes, well, I've been making whey. I make it because I make cheese.
Yeah.
So whey is cheese runoff, and that's the liquid whey.
Wow.
And so she was like, I think I can throw something together where we have a fresh liquid whey, which is made from cheese, where we add a whey isolate to that, as in powdered whey, and then a flavoring, bit of salt, a sweetener of some kind that's low calorie, like an allulose or a stevia, and essentially have a super high protein, delicious, light, refreshing, healthy drink.
Yum.
Yeah.
So as soon as I was drinking, I was in love with it, and I was like, I just know that there's something out there that this needs to be done. Because do you drink protein drinks?
Yep.
I used to, a lot.
When you go to the supermarket and you grab one, like I'm a bastard. When I grab one, I read the ingredients and I'm like, what is it? What is that in there for?
And that's why I love the convenience of it, but there really isn't a lot of high quality ones
not
out
good
there.
ones.
No, and also we buy it for the claim on the front, which will be like 15 grams of protein. But then you look on the back and the protein is just one portion out of 30 different ingredients that's like, well, what is that doing in there?
And 30
I'm
grams
buying
of
it for the
sugar.
protein. Yeah, 30 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to make sure that the ingredients was perfect, like as good as it could possibly be to fulfill essentially what I want. Like, I'm an
Solved a
ingredients
problem.
reader and I want to see great stuff, but I also want it to taste good. And that's the other thing about like grab and go protein drinks often taste like rubber for no particular reason. Chalky
rubber.
and thick and
Yeah.
ours is not like that. But also the ancient superfood of whey. So for instance, like Hippocrates 2,000 years ago would give his clients fresh liquid whey for their gastrointestinal and skin problems. In the 1800s, you'd go to Switzerland and they'd bathe in whey to soften the skin.
Wow.
It's kind of an ancient forgotten, not really forgotten because we know what whey is,
Yeah.
but we don't know what the liquid whey is. That's just kind of forgotten because it's made into powder. And usually cheesemakers throw it away. They'll either give it to pigs, throw it away, or make protein. So it's upcycled now. So what we're doing is taking a product that would be otherwise thrown away and putting it into our drink to make a micronutrient-rich, high-protein drink that's actually good for you and actually has great ingredients.
I want to
Wow,
try
I
it.
want to try it.
I know. I wish I could just
Yeah.
hand it to you right now. We go with 3 flavors: matcha, chocolate, lemon.
Lemon.
I know. Like this is exactly what I wanted to happen when I said matcha and 2 women to go, yeah.
But also, like, for a second, I went, ew, lemon. And then I thought, hang on a second. Is that kind of like when you go to a restaurant and you order, like, the creamy lemon pasta? Is that what it
Yes.
tastes like?
Not like lemon pasta, but yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you get
You're
what
on the
I'm
right,
saying.
exactly
like
what,
cheesy
exactly
lemon.
like cream and lemon work together. In
Yeah, they
fact,
do.
whey back in the 50s was used as like the base for lemonade.
Fat and acid.
Fat and acid.
If you know
Yeah.
cooking, fat
Right.
and acid. Really
Are you a good cook?
Yeah, I love
She
to
is a good
cook.
cook.
Yeah.
Are you a good cook?
I am, actually. And I only hesitate
No, you're
because
not.
I'm a...
What do you mean? John?
What do you mean?
But you remember your rule? You're like, oh, I can't cook.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm a bad cook. I'll tell you why.
Oh, is this manipulation?
Yeah. So because I am an ADHD with OCD and a recovering codependent.
Hot.
Yeah. I have this problem where I get in relationships and because of my codependency and my OCD, this thing happens, and there is an actual name for it which escapes me right now, where a partner will recognize that in me and will take full advantage of it. And it's a form of abuse, right? So basically they'll recognize that I'm really great at cleaning or really great at cooking. And so they just kind of go, well, fuck this, I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And they'll intentionally do something that really annoys me, and then I get so frustrated that I just do it myself.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden I've gone from being the girlfriend to the slave.
Yes.
And so
And that's happened a few times to you?
It's happened a few times, but I remember being in this one relationship, which was probably my most successful relationship to date, where I recognized this pattern in myself and I flat out lied to the guy from minute one. And he's like, so can you cook? I'm like, nah, I burn water. And it was fucking amazing because he started doing all the cooking.
All the shit, yeah.
He had other people he's like, can you clean? I'm like, well, I can kind of make a bed, but I sort of suck at everything else. And then he hired cleaners. It was so genius, and I don't know why and in the end, like once we got more comfortable with each other, I got a little bit better at cleaning and cooking and stuff, obviously. But
well, you were already good at it. You came out that you were good at it.
I came out of the closet as a good cook and somebody who has OCD when it comes to being clean.
Yeah.
And it was actually a way more healthy dynamic in the relationship. So I realized after my last situation where I was taken advantage of, I said, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to tell the next person I can't cook.
Good pattern realization, though. Like that's what we were talking about before is pattern realization. Yeah. I realized that I had a pattern with Cara when I met her because she was kind of like she'd gotten out of an abusive relationship before me, and I was like, oh, wounded foal. And I was like, as I mentioned, I was kind of coming into my own career success after years of planning for it, and I was like, I felt like this big hero winner. And she was like, she wasn't feeding herself well. You know, she didn't have a regular period. And I was like, I'm going to just nail this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you get you in order. Like I'm gonna cook for you and make sure you're eating properly and actually feeding yourself, not just salads all the time and wondering why you have, gut issues. Like let's go. And I loved feeling like a hero. But also it caused its own anxiety too, because it was like, you can't be the hero forever. Eventually, it's going to pierce. They're going to see the truth. Like, you're not a hero. Yeah. You're just a person. You're a fallen piece of shit, just like anybody else. Like, you're not a perfect human being. And I remember having panic attacks. I never had panic attacks before until then, when I was like, oh shit, she's going to see me for who I am, that I'm not the hero, and she won't want to be with me anymore.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Really?
It's called the fixer.
The fixer.
The fixer.
Right.
Where you always trying to fix everything, putting others before yourself or just your partner. And then, that is a thing of like anxiety where you're like, oh my God, I'm doing so many great things. And you're getting the admiration of like, I'm doing all the best. And then like, what if you fuck up one day?
Yeah.
And then that's going to bring like anxiety, like, oh my God, it's not the person I want to be with.
Yes.
Especially when you love somebody so much and care for them and you want to be with them, that strife is like, I really don't want them to see anything that might turn them off.
Yeah.
It's so funny when we're in the honeymoon period, isn't it? You just, even without, it's subconsciously, you put your best foot forward and this person thinks, oh my God, I'm dating the most amazing person. And 6 months in, you're sitting on the couch and you think, fuck it, I'm not going to hold this fart in. You just
Yes.
You just let it rip.
Yes.
And then your relationship's over at that point.
Yes, or you lose your temper.
Yeah.
You lose your temper at something, or you get frustrated and pissy and you're like, I'm just going to let him see it.
Yeah.
At some point you're like, just let the mask fall off. I'm going to just be myself now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
What happened in your relationship when you let the mask off? And did it come through a fart?
No, farts were part of the initial mask.
Okay.
That was the joy of it.
So you were farting from
I was
day one.
openly somebody who pooed.
Okay.
From the get-go.
Okay, that's
I like
good.
to talk about it and talk about farts and things like that.
Yeah.
And then when she farted for the first time, it was the biggest joy to my heart.
You loved it.
I loved it. Oh my God. I was just like, yes,
We
woman.
can connect now.
Yes, we really can.
Yeah.
I remember her face, and I'm like, yes. And she's like, no. And I'm like, yes.
I love that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Actually, that reminded me of something you posted on your social media, your birth story.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh my
remember
God.
thinking that was one of the most raw, cool experiences that you shared.
Yes.
And, you know,
Wow, what happened with the birth story?
Well, we had a home birth for our second birth. So Cara had our first birth chaplain. He was in a breech position, so we had a cesarean, and then she really wanted to try, and she felt some sense of shame around that. Like she really wanted to give a real go to a birth and do it home birth and do it without any medication or anything like that, any painkillers. Second birth, she did that. We did it at home in our bedroom with our son chaplain asleep, like he basically sleeps in our wardrobe.
wow.
And he didn't wake at all. She was like going for it. It was like 12-hour labor. We were in a pool in our bedroom, a blow-up pool, and it was just such a painful exercise for her. And seeing like the rawness and the push and the heave, you know, when it turns from labor pains to it's time to push, and it was an incredibly raw experience that was photographed so beautifully by our doula, Becca, who's the friend who introduced me to her.
No
wow.
way.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You have a lot of like
I know, it's all overlapping.
serendipity-ish. What women go through and the life that we give and just what happens, it's really, really
I know.
it's crazy.
There's some magical stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially the birth process is like,
Oh my God.
it's crazy.
Yeah, truly. And the way that birth culture now, like, you know, because Cara's best friend is a doula, and so now I hear all about it. I watched Ricky Lake's movie. Have you ever seen Ricky Lake's movie about the business of being born? And you see like how men like are the ones who've influenced birth culture. So put yourself under the stirrups. You're going to give birth at this time. We're going to cut you over. We're going to give you the painkiller, blah. And it's like the way that the beauty of birth has been stripped away from women is so insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to. I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong if you know the answer, I heard that the whole giving birth on your back thing was actually invented by a king who wanted to watch his queen give birth. Something crazy
Wow.
like that.
Yeah.
But really, you're actually supposed to give birth in a squatting position, aren't you?
Well, you give birth
Or
in any
however,
position
yeah.
like it feels right.
Yeah.
You know, so for
exactly.
instance, like when Cara gave birth, she was on my lap in the pool, pushing with her legs away from the pool, and like that's how it happened.
Yeah.
For some people, like they can do it standing. Some people
Yeah.
they just put their foot up, or some people like are on all fours, like in,
Yeah.
you know, and.
It's gravity. It's gravity.
What did you?
Yeah.
What did you do?
I was like in a Pilates stance, like
There you
but
go.
on my back, but like leant up, but I grabbed my little one out. I was able to do that.
Amazing.
Yeah, but definitely like working out the Pilates stuff like helped me to and they were pushing my legs. Like my mom was there and the nurse was helping me to like push against, so it was like my legs were
cool.
against them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I had I was very lucky, like came out within an hour.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Slipped on out there, Shanina.
It's all that
you did your Kegels.
I did my Kegels.
You know, I heard the other day that a reverse lunge is 47% more effective than Kegels.
Watch
Really?
me reverse lunge out of here.
You know, that may not be true, but if you look at the reason I walk backwards is because of a guy called Knees Over Toes Guy on Instagram.
Saw
His name's
you
Ben
posting.
Patrick. He's amazing.
Yep.
The reason I do any of the knee health stuff, but his wife is Knees Over Toes Girl, and she posted that.
The
Reverse lunging or
Reverse-
lunging in general is 47% more effective than Kegel exercises.
wow.
Yeah.
wow.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Fun
Shanina,
facts.
now we know.
Well, I felt, mate, because I feel like I need to do Kegels too.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, men do have
We do need
have a
to.
pelvic floor.
Yeah, pelvic floor. So it made me feel better about it. I'm like, because I don't really want to be doing that during the day. I'm just like, you know.
You don't want to put the crystal in and hold up weights?
Well, I don't
have
have
you
to
seen
do that.
Yeah.
Do I? Is that a thing?
You do have a hole.
I know, but that's not where my Kegel whatevers are, my pelvic floor necessarily. Wait, hold on. There's a crystal thing?
Okay, I saw this
Yeah.
thing on Instagram. I should elaborate. And by the way, for the record, I've never done this, but never say never. So there are some people that post themselves training their Kegels by putting this crystal inside their vaginas that holds a weight, and they train their Kegels by increasing the weight load.
Yes, there's the same thing for men. It's called a private gym. That's the company name. It's a company, but you hang like you could do it with a wet towel, or you can do their thing, which is essentially like flexing your penis and lifting a weight.
Excuse me?
Yeah, it's a real thing. But
No, it's not.
It's a real thing. It's called a private gym.
I'm not taking this seriously.
Fine, feel free not to. I tell you what does work out there for the men. Because I love talking about sex too, but if you are a man who, for some reason, is listening to this podcast, I don't think you're going to get many men. But you never know.
We hope so.
Maybe some gay men.
Yeah.
Penis pumps are legitimate, and I didn't know that this was the
Really?
case until I had this wonderful woman who you should have on here called Susan Bratton. She's a sex coach.
I heard her talk. I heard your podcast.
She's
with her.
fantastic.
She, how many different orgasms can people have?
Oh, like 37 or something crazy.
And it's like different
37.
areas
Yeah,
of
like
their bodies.
nipples, core-gasms, whatever. I'm just telling you.
Throat-gasms?
Yeah, throat-gasms. She's crazy.
Describes them too.
But don't be intimidated by her, because she does make things really, really doable for people. And she's changed mine and Kara's sex life. Like,
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Just something that she mentioned, like in passing. It was called, what's it called? No. Yeah, fuck. Okay, it'll come to me later. But anyway, penis pumps do work.
Okay.
Men, if you want a bigger penis, you can use them, especially they increase girth. They increase length a little bit, but girth a lot.
Wow.
This element of touch that Susan Bratton taught me about was fantastic. She was explaining to me, what's it called? Fuck, I gotta think about it. She was explaining to me that there was this sex cult back in the 80s that kind of came up with this way to touch a woman with your hands that got her in the mood for sex like nothing else, and also brought her to orgasm. And it's like the way in which you touch the clitoris would be like as soft as you would be like trying to get an eyelash out of your eye. Like that.
Wow. So it's like teasing.
Yes.
almost.
Now
Yeah.
I went and bought the course.
He's like,
Of course you did.
Because I
love
was like,
that.
because I tried, I don't want to give too much away, but I tried just doing that. And I was like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
This is nice. I need to go and buy the course.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Really?
It is absolutely, what was amazing for me and for Kara, I think, was that she'd maybe never been ready for sex
Properly.
when we were but then this was like, this is what it means to be ready for sex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I love about this conversation and about you sharing that? I feel like there's this common misconception, and I mean very common misconception, that people seem to believe that they're born good at sex, especially men, because there's a lot of shame around, maybe I'm not good
Yes.
in bed. It's fucking bullshit. Like, you might know how to stick your penis in a vagina or a hole or wherever you want to stick it, but that doesn't mean you're good at it. It is something you have to learn.
Yep. Ever evolving, learn techniques, and also to consider this, right? Like the male penis is one dumb big muscle. The female genitalia is like, it's complex. There's things to learn. It has to fill with blood in order to be ready. And you need to nail that before
you nail that.
before you nail that. Yeah. Otherwise it's just like, could you just finish? Because like, I know that this is more for you. Rather than like an orchestra of like us both together enjoying this.
Yeah.
Anyway, Susan Bratton is her name. You can look up our podcast together, where she basically goes into this stuff. But essentially what you should be doing is working from the outside in with all things, particularly the vagina, until before penetration or any clitoris touching. It's like it's like a target. It's like you start outside and then you move in and then move in and then you move in.
And
Until
then
you get to
nail
the
it.
good stuff.
Yeah, the good stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've learned so much from you today. I feel like we've talked about your acting career. You've explained the SAG thing to us.
Yep.
You're an entrepreneur.
I know
Wanna
now,
recap
wow.
that? You know what you didn't tell us? You didn't tell us the name of your brand.
It's called Shakewell.
Shake.
If it's launched by the time this is out, go to getshakewell.com and there's subscriptions. It's going America-wide right
Love
now.
that.
Yeah.
Love that. Is that the only place you can get it online?
Yes, for right now. We're also doing 2-hour delivery in Los Angeles.
That's amazing.
I'm ordering.
Can you include New York next?
Yes,
Please.
we're going to nail that too.
Yep.
I think with the same distributor.
That's
So
your
much
target.
nailing.
That's yeah. Now, this is Los Angeles, New York, until we get to that pussy of Ohio, right?
Amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Luke Cook, this has been such a fun conversation. Thank you for coming on 80/20.
And Honor, this was so fun.
Thanks, Luke.